This moment right here, this is Dragon Ball at its peak. Frieza had just killed Krillin, Goku's losing control, and when he finally breaks, when his hair turns gold, it means everything. Every second of training, every death experienced, it all pays off in this exact moment. And this is also Dragon Ball. Same show, same character, same power level goes up, hair changes color formula, but something's different. And I think most fans know it even if they can't quite articulate it. So here's the question I want to sit with today. Did power scaling ruin Dragon Ball storytelling, or did it just change what kind of story Dragon Ball was trying to tell? Now, before I make my argument, I want to define what I actually mean, because power scaling gets thrown around in the anime world without most even knowing what it's supposed to be doing for the story. Power scaling isn't just characters get stronger. Every big shonen does that. Most popular American comic books and cartoons do as well. It's structurally required. What I'm talking about is the specific system Dragon Ball used, and that is quantifiable strength as the primary engine of stakes, tension, and character development. Or in simpler terms, power levels driving the story. Now, I believe there are three things power scaling is supposed to deliver. The first is stakes. Can the hero actually lose? The second is pacing. Does the gap between current strength and needed strength create tension? And the last and most important is character stakes. Does the struggle to get stronger reveal who someone is? Part of my argument is that Dragon Ball nailed all three early on, and the further the show goes, the more it keeps only the first ingredient while slowly losing the other two. And to me, that's not power scaling failing, that's power scaling succeeding so well, it kind of pushed other story elements out of the picture. So let's start where it worked, because you can't understand the collapse without understanding the peak. The Saiyan saga sets up the rule clearly. Power levels are numerical values, and the higher the number, the more terrifying the fighter. When Vegeta breaks the Scouter, it reveals something about who he is as a person. He doesn't respond well when his point of arrogance is challenged. The knowledge of Goku being close to him made him break what, at the time, was a very valuable tool. Now, the Namek saga escalates this even further, and this is the part that I don't think gets enough credit. Dragon Ball resets the power level importance through misdirection, not just bigger numbers. Because Raccoon should have beat Goku, and Ginyu's body swap should have beat Goku as well, but that's only if you relied on sheer numbers. In the Saiyan saga, the power level on the Scouter pretty much told the whole story, but strategy is more important in the Namek saga. The tension isn't just who's stronger, it's how does the weaker person survive this? That is what got Gohan, Krillin, and Vegeta through even being on Namek. But then we get to Frieza. And one of my favorite aspects about Frieza is how his forms and power level are inverted. He gets weaker looking with each form while getting much stronger. And up until this point, the Z fighters push the idea to not trust the Scouter, but here, Frieza teaches the audience, don't trust the visual, trust what the story's trying to tell you. By the time Goku goes Super Saiyan, Dragon Ball Z has spent nearly 100 episodes teaching you that power means something specific, whether it's rage, loss, a breaking point, whatever. The number isn't the point. The number is just a symbol for the emotional moment that came with it. And Cell is where I think the wheels start to kind of wobble, and I want to be careful here because the Cell saga is still really cool, but it's great despite early signs of the issue that eventually takes over the franchise. The Cell games introduce something new. Power scaling as a countdown mechanic instead of a character mechanic. Cell announces the Cell games in advance. Everyone trains specifically to hit a theoretical number by a certain deadline, the 10 days. And I say theoretical because at this point, power levels are a thing of the past, at least when it comes to numerical values. But using them as a countdown is actually pretty cool, but notice what it does. It turns strength from something revealed through crisis into something telegraphed. We always knew characters had to get stronger, but the moments where it happened felt far more predictable later in Z than earlier. Like Gohan's Super Saiyan 2 transformation is still emotionally earned, so the character logic makes sense, but we knew that power-up had to happen when it did. And not just because the moment called for it, but because there's a good portion of the saga hinting at the concept of Super Saiyan 2. Like I said earlier, the Cell saga wasn't completely bad in this aspect, but it does start a trend. Now, the Buu saga, it's hard to argue that power scaling isn't an issue here. I mean, look at what happens to the stakes. Character death stopped mattering because Dragon Ball had established that Dragon Balls can undo basically anything repeatedly and without cost. Look at what happens to pacing. Fights were now structured around finding the next multiplier, whether it was Super Saiyan 3, Metamoran Fusion, the Patara earrings, unlocking one's potential. Each one is introduced and then forgotten once the next one shows up, literally. And then Super doubles down. Super Saiyan God isn't earned through a character crisis, it's a ritual performed by side characters that Goku basically stumbles into. Ultra Instinct is explicitly described as something that happens to Goku, not something he chooses or fights for in the same way that Super Saiyan was born from grief and fury. This is my main point. Power scaling at one point was crucial to the story that Dragon Ball was telling. The numbers kept climbing, but the story didn't evolve with it. Now please understand, this isn't me bashing the characters getting stronger or an argument saying that, new Dragon Ball bad, old Dragon Ball good. No. I'm sure that for many people, the escalation is the appeal of Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is essentially the father of shonen, where you watch the number go up, watch a new form drop, watching the impossible become possible. It's the entire reason some of you are watching this video right now. The Tournament of Power, for all of its pacing issues, gave us Jiren versus Ultra Instinct Goku, which is maybe the most purely cinematic fight the franchise has ever produced. And honestly, maybe it's unfair to judge Super by the emotional density of early Dragon Ball Z. They are from two different eras, telling two different stories. You had characters who were much younger and in different places in life. In Z, many of the characters were trying to figure out who they were, and how their power grew in relation to that was important. For Z, you had a much younger Akira Toriyama in the groove of creating a manga, and for Super, he was helping to revive something that lay dormant for over 15 years. I just think it's a hard thing to kind of compare. So, did power scaling ruin Dragon Ball's storytelling? I say no. Power scaling didn't ruin it. I think power scaling succeeded so greatly that the series stopped needing the storytelling to justify it. Early Dragon Ball used power as a symbol, later Dragon Ball uses power as a product. Both can be entertaining, but only one of them makes you misty-eyed when Krillin dies on Namek. And I guess that's the real loss. It isn't that characters got too strong, it's that strength stopped costing anything. And when strength is free, story tension has to come from somewhere else. I just don't think modern Dragon Ball has found that somewhere else yet. It just kept turning the power up and hoping that the new forms would cover it up. So let me know in the comments, where do you think the power scaling got off track? Was it Cell? Was it Buu? Super? Even earlier? Or do you think it was never a problem at all? With that being said, if this is your first time on the channel, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this. This is Matt, and thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.